Bartholomew Kuma is a former warlord of the sea, the former king of the Sorbet Kingdom, and an officer and founding member of the Revolutionary Army with a bounty of Beli 296 million. According to both himself and his daughter Jewelry Bonney, he is part of a special race. Once feared as an extremely vicious pirate, earning himself the title Tyrant, he is now a human weapon called a Pacifista, developed by the scientist Vegapunk. Once Vegapunk finished his modifications on Kuma, the Warlord was converted into the first complete Pacifista cyborg, with the serial PX0, and mentally died in the process. After protecting the Thousand Sunny for 2 years, Kuma became a slave to rent for the world nobles as punishment until his fellow revolutionaries freed him. Vegapunk also cloned Kuma as Esper, one of the Seraphim that were designed to replace the Warlords. Kuma is an enigmatic man who is apparently famous for his fury and cruelty. Calm and composed, Kuma generally does not speak much unless absolutely necessary and maintains a stoic, robotic disposition at all times. When talking, Kuma customarily uses the word target in his sentences. He also tends to ask a person where they would like to go on a holiday before sending them away with his devil fruit ability, often honoring the recipient's request, but will occasionally send them to a place of his own choosing regardless of whether or not he received a reply. In spite of his epithet implying a violent personality, Kuma was said to be a gentleman, according to Sabo, whose kindness earned him great respect from his fellow revolutionaries. Likewise, Kuma was a very loving father to his only daughter, Bonney. Indeed, Bonney vouched that her father's reputation as an evil tyrant was falsely advertised by the government and that he is in fact a very kind individual. This is further reinforced during the latter portion of the thriller Bark arc, where Kuma displays honor and respect towards Roronoa Zoro for putting his own life on the line for his captain's safety, an act that impressed the warlord enough to give the swordsman a chance to save his own crew, in spite of that conflicting with the mission he was assigned. There are still several mysteries behind Kuma's character. The details behind his transformation into a pacifista and what exactly it entails are still unknown. His past as a king and as a child have also been hinted to be quite tragic and horrifying, with Kuma in particular feeling embarrassed about the idea of others delving too deep into his private memories. Although he obeys the commands of the world government, Kuma disagrees with what his superiors deem good and evil in the world. He even goes so far as to speculate that Blackbeard's acceptance into the warlord ranks had been a very poor decision by the government, despite the fact that it filled the position left by Crocodile's defeat. However, Kuma's loyalty does not extend to the Marines. This can be seen when he declines to answer a direct question from Admiral Kizaru during the Sabaody Archipelago arc due to his refusal to assist the Marines without a direct order. Kuma did not hesitate to lie when it came to his victory over the Straw Hat Pirates at Sabaody Archipelago. At present, however, Kuma's modifications have been completed. In the finalization of the Pacifista project, Kuma eventually lost his free will, personality and memory to the modifications, in order to ensure his reliability and continuing services towards the world government. In this stage, Kuma shares the same mindless intelligence of his fellow Pacifista models, only recognizing individuals as either enemies or allies to the world government. Doflamingo refers to the original personality as being dead, though it was later revealed that Kuma and Dr. Vegapunk, the man responsible for his cybernetic implants, made a secret deal to allow for Kuma to have a temporary relapse by rendering his final free thought as defending the Thousand Sunny. After that, Kuma was relegated to working as a slave to rent and obeying the demands of the world nobles without question. Prior to his final pacifista modifications, Kuma was an officer in the Revolutionary Army. As a result, he had control over its lower-ranking members. However, he lost this power when he became a complete slave of the world government. As the former king of the Sorbet Kingdom, he once held political power. Kuma ate the Nikyu no Mi, a paramecia-type devil fruit that gave him paw pads on the palms of his hands. These paw pads have the power to repel anything they come into contact with. His paw pads grant him an absolute defense that allows him to protect himself from all physical attacks, even swords. By Kuma's own admission, his paw pads repel things at the speed of light. Additionally, his power to repel is not just strong, it is also focused into a cannon-like blast, enough to create a deep hole through thick stone. His paw strikes can also travel beyond the target, dealing identical damage to anything behind them as well. Kuma can repel the air itself, attacking his opponent with a cannon-like shockwave. He can also compress an immense amount of air between his hands into a single small bubble, and then release the air bubble, which explodes as a supermassive shockwave that can decimate an entire island. Possibly the most impressive application of this fruit is that Kuma can send someone flying over vast distances, even across the world and traveling over the course of several days. The victim of this ability is encased in a paw bubble that protects them from and breaks through any obstacles that are in the way of the destination of Kuma's choosing. To an outside observer, the victim appears to vanish.